The only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance. Muddy water is best cleared by leaving it alone. The more we try to live in the world of words, the more we feel isolated and alone. We seldom realize, for example, that our most private thoughts and emotions are not actually our own. For we think in terms of languages and images which we did not invent, but which were given to us by our society. Problems that remain persistently insoluble should always be suspected as questions asked in the wrong way. To have faith is to trust yourself to the water. When you swim, you don't grab hold of the water, because if you do, you will sink and drown. Instead, you relax and float. The only Zen you find on the tops of mountains is the Zen you bring up there. The art of living is neither careless drifting on the one hand nor fearful clinging to the past on the other. It consists in being sensitive to each moment, in regarding it as utterly new and unique, in having the mind open and wholly receptive. We are living in a culture entirely hypnotized by the illusion of time, in which the so-called present moment is felt as nothing but an infinitesimal hairline between an all-powerfully causative past and an absorbingly important future. We have no present. Our consciousness is almost completely preoccupied with memory and expectation. No valid plans for the future can be made by those who have no capacity for living now. The more a thing tends to be permanent, the more it tends to be lifeless. We are all fundamentally the same. We all seek happiness and try to avoid suffering. We all have the same basic human needs and desires. We do not come into this world, we come out of it, as leaves from a tree. As the ocean waves, the universe peoples. Every individual is an expression of the whole realm of nature, a unique action of the total universe. Trying to define yourself is like trying to bite your own teeth. The reason we have poverty is that we have no imagination. There are a great many people accumulating what they think is vast wealth, but it's only money. They don't know how to enjoy it, because they have no imagination. What you are basically, deep down, far in, is simply the fabric and structure of existence itself. The only thing that ultimately matters is to eat an ice cream cone, play a slide trombone, plant a small tree. Good God, now you're free. The more one knows, the less one believes. You are that vast thing that you see far off with great telescopes. No one is more dangerously insane than one who is sane all the time. He is like a steel bridge without flexibility, and the order of his life is rigid and brittle. The greater part of human activity is designed to make permanent those experiences and joys which are only lovable because they are changing. Things are as they are. Looking out into the universe at night, we make no comparisons between right and wrong stars, nor between well and badly arranged constellations. You are an aperture through which the universe is looking at and exploring itself. The only thing that really ultimately remains is your memory. If you have to give up everything else, to know yourself, your true nature, you must do it. The art of meditation is a way of getting into touch with reality, and the reason for it is that most civilized people are out of touch with reality because they confuse the world as it is with the world as they think about it and talk about it and describe it and measure it. It is hard indeed to notice anything for which the languages available to us have no description. We cannot be more sensitive to pleasure without being more sensitive to pain. If you cannot find the truth right where you are, where else do you expect to find it? The world is filled with love play, from animal lust to sublime compassion. The only true joy in life is to love and be loved. Zen does not confuse spirituality with thinking about God while one is peeling potatoes. Zen spirituality just to peel the potatoes. The greater the artist, the greater the doubt. Perfect confidence is granted to the less talented as a consolation prize. In other words, a person who is fanatic in matters of religion, and clings to certain ideas about the nature of God and the universe, becomes a person who has no faith at all. You don't look out there for God, something in the sky, you look in you. The desire for security and the feeling of insecurity are the same thing. To hold your breath is to lose your breath. I find that the sensation of myself as an ego inside a bag of skin is really a hallucination. The reason we want to go on and on is because we live in an impoverished present. Zen is a liberation from time. For if we open our eyes and see clearly, it becomes obvious that there is no other time than this instant, and that the past and the future are abstractions without any concrete reality. There is always something taboo, something repressed, unadmitted or just glimpsed quickly out of the corner of one's eye because a direct look is too unsettling. The ego is nothing other than the focus of conscious attention. Reality is only a Rorschach ink blot, you know. The style of life appropriate for a culture of machines to which life is feedstock is a style that suppresses the senses, the emotions, and the intellect. Just as true humor is laughter at oneself, true humanity is knowledge of oneself. The most important thing to remember is this: to be ready at any moment to give up what you are for what you might become. This is the real secret of life, to be completely engaged with what you are doing in the here and now. And instead of calling it work, realize it is play. But I'll tell you what hermits realize. If you go off into a far, far forest and get very quiet, you'll come to understand that you're connected with everything. The art of being wise is the art of knowing what to overlook. Life exists only at this very moment, and in this moment it is infinite and eternal, for the present moment is infinitely small. Before we can measure it, it has gone, and yet it exists forever. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe.